Let's see this deer. We got a spot for it behind us. Hopefully it fits okay.
Oh yeah. Ravenna. I mean, I was out east.
I think it's the guy that Sal's getting confused.
Stone. I think his name
Yeah.
is. He's not bad.
No, well, that's the first time I've ever seen him.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys.
Welcome to the Deer Shop Podcast, presented by Siman Brothers Outdoors and the Leaky John Boat Company.
He went and watched a movie that has a $200 million production budget, and then the next thing he watched was our video on YouTube that has a $0 production budget.
This is the first buck I've shot in over 10 years.
Your track job was the first fun track job. That kind of like, I think part of my life was influenced by that night.
Then you miss him 3 times with a rifle at 70 yards on video and the whole world to see.
Yeah, that's what Caleb did. 5 years ago, we couldn't shoot a deer at 100 yards with a slug gun. Now you're shooting turkeys at 100 yards with a shotgun.
The shop is closing up.
Make sure he takes all his right antlers. You can't leave anything.
All right, guys, Deer Shop Podcast, episode 102. Today we are telling the story of Lefty and the fireworks buck. One that turned out really well and one that turned out really bad. And I'll let you guys guess which one, who had the good one and who had the bad one back here. But
Danny had the bad one.
Yeah, Danny's is
with a deer.
Yeah, Danny's is actually mounted on the wall here. The fireworks buck, I won't call it the greatest trail camera picture of all time because it's not that great, but I'll definitely call it the most famous trail camera of all time, picture of all time. I'm obviously biased on that, but it's a pretty cool story. We've never really told it. We've never really done a video on it. We've talked about it here and there in the podcast, but we've never really gone over in depth, and we've been wanting to put this one together for a while. So I got Danny Svoboda and Matt Spaniel in studio with me. Matt was helping me back then do all these setups. I think it was your camera that took the picture.
It was.
Because there's a whole story about that. And then at the time, we didn't even know Danny, but he was hunting right next door. And we'll get into how all that happened. But Danny, you were last on this podcast on episode 93, so it really hasn't been that long for you.
No, not at all. I mean, you guys invited me back, so it's a good thing, right?
Yeah, I think this is what, your third or fourth?
Third, I think. Maybe
There's one I don't remember, but I know we recorded it.
Right, yeah.
The bottle's up there. It's somewhere back there on the shelf, the bottle is. But
oh, man, that was a night.
You watch that video and it goes from here.
It's the second most listened to podcast I think we've ever done on the streaming, which just constantly reminds me that everyone has to hear me just, hey guys, deer big and stuff. But we had you on episode 93 with Drake Honigman. That was our turkey success story. So,
Yep.
You were on for that. You put together that Turkey Camp Chronicles video that we put out about the middle of turkey season.
Oh, yeah.
Which was well received and it was really good. Finally got your memory cards back to you. Hopefully those are in your pocket now.
Yepper.
Matt, I looked on the computer. Your last episode, I think, was 80. So you were in here talking about your buck that you killed last year during gun season. It's actually the video is playing on the screen here in front of us. The deer camp or the deer shop deer camp video from last year. I believe it was our most popular video. It's either that one or the West Virginia. One of the two was the most popular video from last year. And you ended up killing the biggest buck in the shop last year.
Somehow.
Yeah, somehow that buck held through and was the biggest one of the whole group. Have you got it back yet?
Nope.
No.
He told me probably August sometime.
So after I told Danny to bring his mount for today's podcast, I was thinking, man, maybe Matt should have brought his too. But I wasn't sure whether or not you had it back yet.
Not yet.
Who'd you take it to?
Grossenball.
Grossenball. Okay. Grossenbacher.
Yeah.
Grossenbacher. Luke just took his to Joey yesterday or the day before, I believe. It's in the process of getting mounted. So Luke's will be done here hopefully soon. Kendall's is in the house. We got Kendall's back already. And then Isaac's didn't get taken anywhere because we found it in some swamp. But that's Isaac's buck on the wall right there in the middle from last year. Today's podcast is how we met Danny Svoboda all those years ago. Kind of talked about that a little bit earlier, but It's going to be kind of slow. We got to go through the years to get through it. On my notes here, I have everything written down, I believe, in chronological order. And then I'll have you, kick in when the time comes for you to tell your side of things. Me and Matt acquired the property in question, which is the property next to your main property. I think I have it written down here. It was 2013 is when we got it.
That sounds about right.
It was, we had to explain this correctly. It was the girlfriend's mom's of a co-worker of ours.
Yes.
Is that right? Did I do that one right?
Yes.
We no longer have the property. We lost it, or we kind of just, I don't know if we technically lost it. We kind of stopped hunting it the year you killed the fireworks buck. We kind of stopped hunting it around that time. We just didn't put as much time into it, and then it sold maybe a year or two or a couple years after that. It ended up selling. So we would have lost it anyways, and we just kind of, I don't know, at the time I was hunting Hook. So this entire time that this was happening, Hook was alive. So I was hunting him. And
I think if we were still putting effort into it, we probably still could be hunting it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She was a super nice lady. She gave me permission. I never stepped foot over there, but she gave me permission. I mean, I got it just to have it, and I just, there was a lot of guys hunting over there.
So, yeah, we're definitely, we're going to get into that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's the thing, too, is we had no idea that anybody else had permission when we first got permission for the property. And then we started getting pictures of guys.
Yeah, because weren't we kind of told that they were like rabbit hunters only or something along those lines? That there was a group of guys that brought beagles in every once in a while to hunt rabbits.
Yep.
So we thought we had full run of the place. Looking back, we didn't realize how good we had it grabbing all these farms up back then. They're all gone now, and it would have been nice to still kind of have some of those. But I remember that we were kind of shocked at how many guys were actually hunting it, especially during gun season. And that's a big part of the story actually here in a little bit, but. So we hunted between 2013 and 2015. There was a deer that we were hunting there. It was probably, I would say he's the biggest deer that you probably have ever shot. I would assume, Matt, not recovered, but put an arrow into.
Yeah.
And I have pictures of it. I don't know if I think I've shown Danny in the past. I did.
I
put them on my phone so that I can show you again tonight, but, talking to you pre-podcast when we were trying to set this up, you never had that deer on camera?
No, and I would have known too. Now, back then, things were much, much different for me than they are today. I'll get into some of that or whatever, but I was running. Man, I can't even remember what kind of camera it was, but, every time you would go pull an SD card, you were just cross your fingers hoping that it actually worked and actually took the photos and didn't turn out blank. So who knows, but.
So it's curious that you said that. When we first got the property, I have it written down here. When we first got the property that year, 2013, that first year we hunted it, we were in the same boat. We were running like a combined 3 or 4 like cheap Moultrie cameras that we got from like the Finn or Walmart. I mean, we were like just out of high school, poor kids working at Mark's. I don't know. We were in EMS. We were in EMS then a little bit, but just younger men back then weren't spending the amount of money we were on hunting stuff. We didn't have a ton of trail cameras. In the middle of that, 2014 is when I got the Covert Pro Staff deal, and that's when we bought all our cameras, and that's what started this whole thing with the fireworks buck. But that very first year, I was looking back through trail camera pictures. I couldn't find any from that farm, and I don't know if we had any trail cameras on that farm or not. We might have just been hunting it.
I believe I have some.
You have some somewhere hidden on your phone, and you found them?
Well,
because I specifically remember the only time this farm appears in any hunting videos of ours, it was before we were filming SBO Live. We started that in 2016 when we kind of really started getting serious about filming. In 2013, we had like a deer season recap video or a full-length season video, and it had like a couple of our deer kills on it. So, it was 25, 30 minutes long. We went hunting there one day, like during the peak of the rut, Matt, and as we were walking back, you had a climber on your back. I was going to a ladder stand. I think Isaac was with us too. We had that buck chase that doe like across the field and then run across the railroad tracks on video. He was a big 7-point. He had 4 on one side and like a double hook fork on the other side. He was a big wide 7. But I don't remember. I know we probably had show camera pictures of that deer somewhere, but I couldn't find them on my computer when I looked for a little bit today.
I would have to look online.
Yeah, it'd be hard to find them. But like I said, that first year we weren't running a lot of trail cameras. We had, and the stands are probably, some of them are probably still there. That first year, I think I just had a ladder stand somewhere in the middle, and you had your climber and you were moving around a little bit. And it was before we did all the setups out by the field. We didn't hunt it too much back then. 2014, like I mentioned before, I got the Covert Pro Staff deal. We bought a ton of trail cameras. I got really big into trying to get, I had all these new toys, so we were really big in trying to get new cool pictures, cool setups. That's back when we started putting trail cameras on water and river crossings and, fox dens and anything I could get a trail camera picture of we were using. We had a whole bunch of cameras available to us. Started running them in 2014, Velvet at that farm. And around that time, the group of guys that I was, in this covert deal with, namely Pat Howard, and I remember the other one was he's now the owner of Radix. Let me see here, I got his name written down. Clifford Martin. So Pat Howard, Clifford Martin, some of us were in this group, and all these guys work for different companies now. But back then we were in this group, and we were just always trying to outdo each other and get the coolest picture we could. I don't know if we did a setup for a fireworks buck in 2014 or not, but that's the year that when we were running cameras on this farm, we started getting pictures. We had a couple decent 8 points, I remember, and then we started getting pictures of Lefty. Was that fall, and he was just, to paint the picture for the audience, he was a mainframe 10, probably about 150-inch 10, but on his left side, his 2s and his 3s were both deep fork split. So he was actually a 12, I think, and he might have even had a kicker off his brow if I look at the picture here. So a 12 or 13 point with just his entire left side was forks, like tuning forks. So we called him Lefty.
He had mass throughout, too.
Yep, mass throughout. The coverts back then, they kind of hid the mass in their pictures, but I do remember seeing the harvest picture after this deer was eventually killed that gun season. He was just crazy wide, crazy thick. Just truly a buck of a lifetime.
Sure was.
Yeah,
sure was. All right, it's perfect time for Matt to jump in. Tell us about the hunt. I know we hunted a few times on that property before that. I think I actually hunted that property opening day that year, if I remember correctly. We didn't have very much success. Do you remember the date or the rough time frame? I think it was rut-ish, Halloween, beginning of November.
Halloween, I believe.
I know we went in there for an evening sit, and then I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah. So to back up on this property too, with the permission like we said, we didn't think there was going to be anybody else really in there. When we did start running cameras, we would get pictures nonstop of people back there. We got cameras shot, cameras stolen. I think if we wouldn't have got pictures of this deer or some of the quality deer that we got, we wouldn't have put any effort into it.
Yeah, but we had no choice once we got pictures of that deer.
Yeah. So that night, we put a stand. There was one giant oak tree that was in pretty much the waterway in between two fields. Not really much else around it. We decided we were going to stick a stand there.
It was like the lone shade tree in this waterway. By itself.
Yeah, there's a fence row that was kind of away from it a little bit, that ran the complete opposite way of how the waterway was. So, put a stand there. I sat there. I don't know how many times previously. That night, he snuck up in behind me. I was using those shitty broadheads that Ethan talked about.
Yeah, what were those things called?
I don't remember.
They were like, they looked like a Muzzy MX3. So they were like they were technically a 4-blade. So like a Muzzy MX4 fixed blade, but the blades, instead of being straight, they curled like a circle. So like the whole broadhead
was like a circle.
Yeah, it was like a circle for lack of. I don't even remember what they were called, to be honest.
They're like toxic or something.
Some
bullshit.
They were something that young, impressionable men like ourselves would definitely just buy and think was super fucking cool at the time, and we did. We were using them.
They weren't. So he came in. He came in a lot closer than I thought he was going to. He was pretty much like 10 yards from my stand.
Seems to always happen to you.
It does somehow. So I had a wide open shot. Actually, there was like kind of a limb in the way, so I had to kind of reach out around that. Took a shot. It looked pretty decent at the time. I remember texting Caleb and then some of the other guys, and then next thing we know, there was like 47 people that showed up here.
Yeah,
to go
naturally.
track it.
Naturally.
In conclusion, I hit him in no man's land. I hit him high.
Yeah.
He ran right to your property, pretty much.
He went west first, and
Went
then we think he kicked
cut
south.
back over.
Do you remember the cops getting called on us?
I do. Tried to knock on the house directly across from where you have permission at.
Yeah, on the
and
north
nobody
side.
answered, and that's where the blood went. So we just made a decision to go into the fields. We weren't even close to the house.
We were actually right on the border of railroad property.
Yeah.
There was like CSX owns property that goes through there, so we were kind of like pigeon-toeing that border.
Yeah. So,
it was one of those, we decided it was better to ask for forgiveness. Well, we tried to ask for permission, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
We were young and stupid, so we just went anyways across this field, and the cops got called on us.
so now we didn't have to deal with them.
Yeah, then it just kind of went away. They weren't really worried about pressing charges or anything. But the blood, I remember, like we had decent blood, right? Not decent blood, but there was a better amount of blood at first, and then like as we were following this blood trail, it was through, I believe it was a picked bean field already, or close to being picked bean field. Already. So it was we were finding just like little drips of blood across this bean field, and nothing conclusive. Obviously, it was before drones and tracking dogs were really a big deal, and the direction he was going, he was heading towards town, and then there was just no way for us to really continue on the track. And I think it rained that night later too.
It did.
It had all the things that you don't want to happening all at once. I know for a fact that we did not get any more pictures of the Lefty after you shot him until, well, I don't know, what it'd be like Tuesday or Wednesday of gun season, but we didn't know it obviously because we weren't running cell cameras. When we went in and checked our cameras after gun season, we had pictures of Lefty. Well, even better. The first picture in this sequence was a dude.
It was November 5th.
No, because he had a gun. It couldn't be November. It couldn't have been November 5th.
The picture I have is November 5th.
There's the
so
one.
That date's probably wrong.
Well, there's the one where they were shooting the corn pile. Is that the one you're talking about?
No, that is
the corn
not
pile.
the one I'm talking about.
Because there's the camera must have been off a month thing. Because December 5th would make sense because they were wearing orange and it was gun season. So there's no way it was November 5th. Just couldn't have been. We're doing research right now, live. We're doing live research. I might have put. No, actually, I don't have the pictures of him getting shot on my phone. I thought they're on the computer. I did
December 5th.
December 5th. Okay.
Yep.
That makes perfect sense then.
That camera was a month off.
December 5th. We did, like I said, we weren't using cell cams, so we went in and checked our cameras after gun season. On December 5th, which you'd have to go back and look, December 5th, 2014, this would have been, I don't know if it was a weekend or middle of the week, but we had a picture of a guy carrying across a cut cornfield like a one of those old school hillbilly folding lawn chairs with like the canvas and the aluminum frame. He's got like underneath his arm and a gun and some orange on in the other, in his other arm.
That field wasn't completely cut either.
No, it was
There
like
was like
partial
one or two rows that were
Yes.
that were cut, combine rows.
So he's walking across this field in the middle of the afternoon. The very next picture on our cameras, unbelievably, the very next pictures were Lefty, broad daylight, like 3:00 in the afternoon, heading straight to this corn pile where we hadn't had him on camera in over a month. Heading straight to this corn pile. I believe he was probably there. People were probably doing deer drives around the neighborhood, I would assume, coming from your way or, or somewhere. Or the guy just wind bumped him when he was walking in and the deer took a bad route. But the deer was heading right to the corn pile. And the third picture in the sequence was the deer laying dead in said corn pile with his rack up off the ground. And then the fourth and fifth picture were a bunch of guys huddled around it.
So the first picture was at 9:13 in the morning. The second picture was at 10:20 in the morning.
Okay, so it was a morning setup.
The third picture is him running towards the deer at 10:21. And then 10:23, there's another guy, two more guys.
So they must have been doing a deer drive to get there that quick. of some kind.
I'm pretty sure the guy that shot it is still up in the tree in these pictures.
Okay.
Then the other two are right there. So that deer came from your way.
Yes. Came from the south. Directly from the south.
Yeah.
So he took that lawn chair in the picture, I remember, but didn't you find a shotgun shell up in your stand?
Yeah.
So he left you a little present, like, haha, bitch.
Yep. Sitting right on the seat of the stand. And I'm pretty sure he was sitting in the stand when he shot it.
Yeah.
I don't think he used the lawn chair that he...
Because they hadn't been there probably since the year before, deer hunting wise. I know we got some pictures of them in the fall, but he might not have known our tree stand was there until he went to sit in a spot during his drive or during the day and like, oh shit, there's a nice ladder stand there. I'll climb up in it. And then somehow, we must have got it from Brett?
No.
How did you get the picture?
I did not get the picture.
Who did?
You did.
From who?
The girl you were dating at the time, her mom got it from one of her coworkers at the bar.
Who was I dating at the time?
Katie.
Okay. I didn't know. I had to clarify that.
Pam got it from somebody that works at the bar.
Okay, that would make sense. That would make sense then, because the local bar, the establishment there, yeah, that makes perfect sense. So we ended up getting a picture of the buck, and when it was hanging in this garage, it just looked fucking massive. I remember,
yeah,
just completely massive. And that's how our stories go oftentimes. But in review, giant buck on the property, couple encounters and hit him, couldn't find him. Guys came in gun hunting, killed him out in our setup. I mean, that's what else is there to be said? Just the way it goes sometimes for us. That's just the way our luck is.
And the picture of them there before was the corn pile, them shooting it with a
Yes.
handgun. Literally shooting the corn pile with a handgun.
Yes. And this is a theme. You guys are going to start to pick up on a theme on this property. And it actually now is reminding me why we didn't keep going back after these couple incidents. While they were rabbit hunting earlier in the year, so like October, November timeframe, they would walk by our trail cameras and shoot their guns into our corn piles on camera for whatever reason.
Flick off the camera.
Yeah, they were.
How many pictures I have of them flicking cameras off?
So they weren't very happy, obviously, that we were hunting the farm that they had already had permission to hunt. But we never actually ran into them in person. I don't think.
Nope.
I don't know how much we hunted the rest of that year, which was 2014. Going into 2015, we had cameras set up once again. We were getting some decent pictures, and that's when this whole competition of who could get the best. Who could get a picture of fireworks going off in the background with a deer in the foreground? It's something that group of guys I mentioned earlier, Pat Howard, Clifford Martin, it was something that we've been trying to do. I think Pat may have done it before we did, but the pictures were just like does and infrared cameras and just not super good quality. So the idea was there. It wasn't my original idea, but I'm pretty sure it was Pat's, and people have been trying to do it. But the way this farm lays out in relation to this town, it's perfect. The fireworks display is literally, I don't know, not even a quarter of a mile, an eighth of a mile down the street. So we made these big plans to try and capture the fireworks and deer in the same frame. I know we set up 4 cameras specifically for it. 2 of them were on bait piles. One was just watching beans, deer feeding in regular beans. And another one was on some trails in between. We had one white flash covert, which was mine, I believe, on the regular, just beans, no bait. That camera actually ended up getting a picture of a doe with a big firework explosion in the background that night, which was kind of cool. Matt's camera was on a major bait pile in the middle of the field, just directly pointed towards the fireworks display. There was another bait pile that had a camera on video mode. One of my cameras on video mode was on that bait pile facing the fireworks. And then in between on the field edge on the path, we just had another regular camera on picture mode.
Yep.
Once again, not cell cameras. So after the 4th of July, a couple days later, we went back to collect our cameras. My white flash covert on the field was there. The camera that ended up getting the fireworks buck photo, Matt's on the bait pile, was there. The one on the trail in between them was gone. And the camera that was on the bait pile on video mode, it was a covert black 60, it was gone too.
Yep.
So 2 of the cameras were gone. 2 of them were there. We kind of searched around, didn't find them. Went back to mom and dad's at the time where I was living. And boom, we got my doe picture with the fireworks, and then we got the sequence of the fireworks buck, Danny's deer here on Matt's camera. There's I think there was like 9 or 11 photos, and he was there in front of it for a while. These deer, obviously, he was a 3 or 4 year old buck at the time when Danny finally killed him. He's obviously was used to those fireworks going off every year because there's, like I said, there was 9 or 11 pictures of him just eating and walking around in front of the camera with fireworks going off in the background, with the one that we would call the most famous one at the center, obviously. We were very excited, obviously, posted it on the internet, got, I don't even know how many likes and shares. It was shared, over the next couple of years. That picture ended up being not stolen, but used by a bunch of every company that was in the deer hunting industry. A lot of the celebrities, they all reshared that picture, unfortunately without any credit towards us. But if we had watermark, people always said, why didn't we watermark it earlier back then? I think if we would have watermarked the heck out of it, people probably wouldn't have used it as much. Yeah. So it wouldn't have become as of a cultural phenomenon, I guess, for lack of better terms for this picture, as it would have if we would have watermarked it. But that picture got shared just a bazillion times.
Just this year, my buddy texted me the picture from, I can't remember what social media group or whatnot. He's like, isn't this the deer you killed? And I'm like, yep, that's the one. My buddy's got that thing on camera from across the street. And, so it's still very much alive and well and making its rounds every 4th of July in this time of year.
I remember the next year, like a couple years after, like right there, right when it was more of a fresh picture, it's been 10 years now. So, 9, 8, 7 years ago, it was a lot more prevalent. I mean, I would see it everywhere. I mean, Granger Smith shared it, Jim Shockey, the Drurys, the Lukowskis. I mean, all these people were sharing this picture back then. It was fun to kind of argue with people about it because there was a lot of people that were claiming that it was their picture. So I'd go on the internet and poke the bear. Like, yeah, really?
Of course, you got to.
What about all the other ones in the sequence? And, it was fun calling people out. But, over time, it has definitely died down and it's nowhere near as big of a deal as it was when it first happened. But it's been replicated a bunch of times now. There's a whole bunch of different guys that have now gotten pictures of bucks and fireworks. There was last year when AI was just starting to become a thing. I remember there were some AI videos of like deer with fireworks shooting off in the background that people were making. Yep. We've actually repeated it a couple times. I did it once for the Chatham Township 250th or 207th, whatever anniversary we just had. I know we were shooting off fireworks. We set up a couple cameras in some farms around the area, and I was able to get some like really crappy like fireworks in the background with some deer pictures. Even there was a couple that had bucks in them too. And then last year on accident, our neighbor back here was having some kind of party. It might have been Labor Day. He was shooting off fireworks at his house, and I got a trail camera video of a buck walking by with fireworks going off in the background. So it's kind of more common now than it was then, and we've duplicated it a few times. But I remember finding those first couple pictures, and I remember Tyler also helped us set these up. Yeah. Thinking back now, all these memories come back. We got the corn from him for sure. We just were taking like 5-gallon buckets of corn out of his bin back then. But it was a pretty cool experience, and it was cool seeing all the reaction we were getting with it from celebrities, everybody. But it was kind of cool.
To go back on the cameras, we did get the video mode one back. Because remember, we followed the 4-wheeler trails.
That was the one that was on the trail.
It was.
We got the trail one. I've never recovered the video mode one.
I thought we did.
No, the video mode one wasn't recovered. I've never seen any of the videos from that night, and it's still gone. But the one that was on the trail, because it was on a stick, and I remember. We found it. I have it written down. It was either during gun season when we were like doing some gun hunting, or it was during shed season when we were shed hunting.
Might have been shed season.
We found the camera on a stick, like smashed up against a tree, and you could see where someone had hit a tree that night with their 4-wheeler, and it like fell off the 4-wheeler, and it was still taking pictures. It took pictures of like someone driving by real fast on a of and then it was taking a bunch of pictures of, like the sky and trees, and then it was taking a bunch of pictures like laying sideways on the ground until the batteries died.
Yeah. We know who it was.
They were probably drunked up. Yeah, didn't we end up kind of figuring out who it was?
Yes.
I would love to see the memory cards from that video camera still to this day, but I've never seen a covert video of fireworks in the background from a buck, so I've never been able to try and claim that our card got put out there. But somewhere in this sequence of stuff happening, this 2015 year when we got this fireworks buck, Danny Svoboda comes into the picture, and you're going to have to remind me exactly how that went down.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, this is the way that we all came to know each other.
Yeah.
I mean, now after all the years, obviously it's funny, I come to find out that we have a lot of mutual friends.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what, because obviously after I was able to harvest the buck, I put it out there, and then that's what kind of one thing led to another. So
was it on Medina County Hunters? I don't know if Medina County Hunters was even a thing then.
You introduced me to Medina County Hunters after you saw, so you had to have seen it, or one of our mutual friends had to have seen it and told you about it, or something had to have happened. I still don't know how you saw the picture. I just remember you messaging me afterwards saying, "Hey, congratulations. Thought you would like these trail camera pictures that we've got of your buck. Apparently we hunt the farm across the street from you," and that's how one thing led to another.
Yeah, I guess I would have to try and remember how that went down, because I don't
remember.
I mean, it was about 14 million beers ago. So
yeah.
But I do remember I remember the picture. I have it on my computer because I'm going to use it for the thumbnail. You were wearing a bunch of face paint and you're just holding the deer straight on like it is here in the video. And I just remember like whoever, like you said, friend of a friend or mutual friend, or someone said this guy hunts by you. And I remember looking at, it was the brow tines that gave it away, the way the brow tines are shaped on your buck. I'm like, holy shit, that's the fireworks buck. Because we were, I think at the time, it was obviously you had already had the deer dead and mounted potentially, or it had been dead for a while. So I think we were thinking that the fireworks buck might be one of our main hit listers, like going into the 2016 season, until I saw your pictures and I was like, oh man, he's dead.
He's toast.
But yeah, I'd love to hear the story on how you killed him.
Yeah, it was a bizarre kind of way that how it all went down. So I guess where I start is, I mean, this farm, I've had permission, and I'm going to age myself yet again on this podcast. I'm sure y'all already know, but
you're the oldest one here.
Yeah. I got permission to hunt this farm when I was 18 years old. So I've been on there now for 22 years, if you could believe it. So there was a period of time that I had moved away, further away from the area, and I was hunting different properties. So there was about a good 3 years that I was not hunting that property. But moved back to the area. Wife was pregnant with our first son, and was anxious to get back at it. So kind of preseason scouting, there's a real thick, overgrown horse pasture that's on the property, and I've always stayed out of that area. It's always been kind of like a sanctuary, kind of where. So I set up it was a Remington trail camera, if you could believe it. The thing was like,
you weren't kidding.
It was
hopefully it took.
Oh yeah, it was just this big black box. I mean, it was.
Did it take like giant batteries?
Oh yeah.
Or no, like those lantern style ones where you like clip the things to the top, like 6 volts.
It was something really crazy to think about. Now where I'm at today, where we're all at today, what we were all using back then. Like when I saw those pictures that you sent me and I saw the covert stamp on it, I'm like, oh shit, this guy's legit. I'm like, oh my God, he's got covert trail camera.
Only because
I can't afford that.
I was getting him at a discount. I couldn't afford it.
I can't afford that. Hell yeah, power to you, buddy. So no, I just, I was like, all right, got a trail camera now. I'm going to get in this game and whatnot. So, started getting some pictures of bucks, decent bucks. And, up until that point, like I grew up hunting in West Virginia with a 243 and all you cared about back then was an attaboy when you got back to the house. So, I've got little tiny basket racks lined up on my.
We got a whole bucket.
Oh yeah,
like right back there.
Yep. I got a whole mantle full of them in my basement fireplace. But so this is the first decent buck I've ever taken. You know? And so I was stoked. I was so stoked. But I never had pictures of this buck. I never had pictures of him. So
it's mind blowing to me.
Oh yeah,
that you didn't have that one. You didn't have Lefty.
Yeah, and the only thing separating our properties is literally a road.
Yep.
Like I can see, we could like when Matt was in that stand where he shot Lefty. If he would turn around, he could see the tree line that you're hunting from his stand. It was that. It was not close in distance, but you can see it.
Oh, easily.
Crazy.
yeah, so I mean, I had a bunch of bucks on camera, and I was actually hunting a pretty decent one. Nothing even compared. He actually resembled that buck you described. Obviously, it wasn't the same one, but that 7-point that had that big fork on the side.
Yeah, he had like his left side was like it curled in and had 2 with the brow, and then his right side was a tip, like a regular 4 side. You know,
he resembled that, and I don't know if it was the same buck or not.
Could very well easily have been.
So you know, so I set the stand. I'm getting good intel from the pictures and everything, and I think it was my first hunt of the year, and it was October 12th.
Okay.
And I was waiting for some good conditions. I got in there, and I was just trying to see, you know, what would go down. And I noticed a really nice mature doe in that thicket, and she was doing her thing, and I'm watching her, and I was actually thinking about taking her because it was still kind of early in the season. You know, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll fill the freezer with some meat. And literally, she's doing her thing. She pops her head up. She looks back, and she just bolts. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? And here he is right behind her, chasing her like it's November 1st. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, holy shit, man, that's a tall, you know, you could see he was tall, you know. I'm just like, that's a good buck, you know.
Right.
So he goes taking off into the thicket, and they're running all around crazy. And I just couldn't believe it. So I break out my grunt tube, and I start grunting at him. And he did end up working his way back around to me, and I didn't get I didn't have an opening. He wasn't in a spot where I had a lane. I didn't feel comfortable with it. I was shooting like a Struther SX1. It was a dual cam, but 60 pound. I mean, it wasn't anything special, but
Remington trail camera and a Struther's bow.
Oh yeah, baby!
You show up here wearing a First Light hat.
Yeah. Things have changed a little. Yeah, I've moved up a little bit.
Things have changed in the last 10 years.
Oh hell yeah, they have. Boy, I tell you. But yeah, so I you know. He come around, he's bristled up, he's looking for, you know, the buck, and I didn't have a shot at him, and I watched him, I thought, walk out of my life. And I just remember sitting there till dark, getting down, getting back to the truck, and I'm just like, I'll probably never see that deer again in my life.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what?
Been there before for
sure. I'm like, you know what? I'm going back tomorrow. I don't care. I'm going back tomorrow. I even called a buddy and was like, hey, do you want to come hunt another stand just in case I get this buck, and just so I got somebody else there? Because usually I'm solo. I'm usually just, you know, but he's like, oh, no, it was literally October 13th. It was like 70 degrees that day. The winds were really whipping hard. And he's like, no. He's like, you're crazy. You're not going to see that deer again. He's like, I'm not going. I'm just wasting my time. I'm like, well, screw it. I'm going.
Yeah.
So I remember being up there in the stand, and I'm literally swaying in the breeze. And I'm like, son of a bitch. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing here, you know. And I'm just sitting up there. And literally right about that golden hour, it seemed like a light switch flicked. And the wind died down. Everything started to settle down really nice. So I'm like, okay. So I'm sitting there. And so the day before, I had one of those. I think it's Primos that makes it. It's the buck roar, where you could kind of like
switch the.
You could switch, yeah. You could take the top off,
make it like
move
a
the
super
reed.
Aggressive grunt.
Yeah, or you could do like young buck or whatever. Yep. So I'm like, you know what? He didn't really like. He came into the young buck one the time before, but I'm like, I'm going mature. So I flipped that thing all the way down, all the way to the deepest setting, and I started letting out just a couple of really nice, strong grunts. And I just remember putting it away in my pack, and I look up, and here he comes out of nowhere. It's
like a TV hunt.
Oh, it was insane. It was just insane. And like literally, I didn't even have time to even think or get nervous. I literally, one motion, grabbed my bow off the hanger, stood up, drew back, stopped them at 30 yards, and double lunged them. And I mean, it just went, that lighted knock went right through his ass. and I see it just sitting there and in the grass, and I just like all of a sudden the knees started getting weak, and I'm just like, oh boy,
what just happened?
I'm like, oh boy. I sat down. I called up my buddy Bobby. I'm like, Bobby, I got him. He's like, the buck from yesterday? I was like, yeah, dude. I could see the knock right there. He's like, all right, don't panic. He's like, and my buddy Bobby is the one that really got me into hunting with a compound. He got me, he really kind of took me under his wing there because I'm a self-taught hunter mostly. So prior to that, I was hunting with a crossbow just to get an extended season out of it. And so, I mean, he was the first one to call back then, obviously, no doubt. Hell, he's one of the first people I call now. But so he's like, don't panic. He's like, just chill. He's got bucks on the wall. He's been done through this before. He said, just give him some time. He said, call me in 30 minutes when you get down, check the arrow, let me know what you see. So I'm like, okay. Got my flip phone.
Yeah.
I'm just like, so I'm like, oh, all right.
He's got a keyboard in it.
Oh, yeah.
Took a grainy ass picture and said, can you see this?
Well, I mean, hence the photo.
I keep saying, you got any better pictures for this thumbnail? And he's like, nah, man, that's all.
That's the best one, man. And back then, that was good quality.
It was.
So I get down. I go to the arrow. I could see a little bit of blood on it, but it wasn't like what I had hoped to see, and I'm just like, oh shit.
What broadhead were you using?
Rage.
Okay.
So it was a Rage chisel tip, and it was fully deployed. Everything was good there. And honestly, I have never had any issue with Rage personally.
I have not either.
Some people have, and it's been, there it is right there. 1 out of 3.
I have not either, but it's a story for another day, and we've kind of talked about the last few podcasts, but I think I'm switching broadheads this year just because of some reasons. We'll get into that. I'll let you finish first.
Yeah. So I started panicking, started getting the second guessing going on in my head. Maybe I didn't hit him. I mean, I swore I saw the knock disappear and then reappear behind him. I mean, I know I was holding firm on the target, but again, up until that point, I have never flung an arrow on a deer of this size before. So I'm like, so Bobby's telling me, okay, just chill out, just slowly start moseying, So I start heading in the direction. Oh, I got a drop of blood. Just another little drop of blood. Real little tiny, So I'm like, oh, man, I don't know. Maybe I should leave him overnight. Literally, I went probably 20 yards from where my arrow was. And I'm thinking in my head at that moment, maybe I should just back out. And literally, I lifted my head up, and another 20 yards down the trail, I just see white belly and rack just laying there.
He was dead right
there. Yeah, I'm just like, holy shit, he only wants 40 yards. He was right there.
That's why he didn't bleed, because his heart never even pumped. He died.
Dude, it was just like euphoric right there. And like that's really
was that your first ever archery buck?
Yeah.
It was your first ever archery buck?
Yeah. I've killed does before with archery equipment, but this was my first ever archery buck because, I was waiting for a shooter. Lord knows I killed plenty of small ones. So I was waiting for a good buck, and oh my God, I was over the moon. I mean,
I wish we would have known each other back then so we could all piled in and ran up there and had a party.
And this mount doesn't even do him justice. Like, this was October 13th.
Yeah.
I mean,
he does have a thin coat. So when I was putting him up, I remember, I was feeling it. And his coat is still kind of that earlier.
Oh, yeah.
It's not the bristled out November, December.
I did have a photo that my buddy took on his camera because he helped me drag it out. Because we didn't have 4-wheelers or nothing. I mean, we just did it the old school way. And I mean, his body, he was a big body buck. Yeah. He had a good big body.
He had a good body on him in July when we got the picture.
Yeah, he was a big body buck. So I was just over the moon. So, again, one thing led to another. I posted the pictures on social media. Next thing you know, I got this guy sending me a message, Caleb Simon. Have no idea who he is. Never met him before in my life. Didn't even think to maybe see for mutual friends or whatnot. But I opened up the message and it said, "Congratulations, thought you might like some photos of the buck that you killed. And he sent me all his photos, and I'm like, wow, this is so cool, you know? And then, of course, we got to be talking about deer hunting, obviously, and everything. He's like, oh, you should join Medina County Hunters. I'm like, okay, sweet, done, you know? So I did that, and then really, the rest is history.
Yeah, here we are.
Yeah, the rest is history. But that was...
I had never heard that story before. So, like, I know you'd killed the buck and we'd talked about the deer and stuff, but I'd never actually heard your story on how you killed it.
I'll never forget it, man. And I called him in, which was super, super freaking cool. I mean, he came in on a rope. I mean, his hair was sticking up. I mean, he was ready to fight, and it was just, I mean, you could see... Well, actually, but he's got split ears right here from fighting and everything, and I mean, he was ready to kick some ass.
There was a lot of bucks in that block back then.
Yeah, he was. Sure. He was ready to kick some ass, and the way he came in, I called him and I 10-ringed him. It was just like, I'll never forget that hunt. I'll never forget any of them, but I mean, this one was definitely
super
a special
special
one. Oh yeah.
How many bucks have you taken off that property now?
Let's see here. I killed another nice 9 the next year, and then I didn't whiff, but I actually got picked off by another 11 the year after, and then I killed one December 4th for gun season. You helped me with that one.
2021, that would have been.
Yeah,
because that was the year I killed Dad's buck. I killed it in the same day.
And then. The past 2 have been on a different farm.
Okay. So you've killed 3 or 4 off of that.
Yeah.
Off of that piece.
Yeah.
That's cool. We never ended up killing a buck out there, I don't think. Did we, Matt? Did we ever kill any deer over there? I can't remember.
I don't think so. I don't think we did.
We didn't spend enough time hunting the backside. I was thinking about it. So I was like going back today, like thinking in my mind, like if I knew now what I knew then, or if I knew then what I knew now, like we should have been hunting the backside fields more than the front field. I don't know why why I spent so much time trying to hunt the front when I could have went over to the backside there.
The last year that we were there, I hunted that back quite a bit, and there was a lot of deer back in there, but I never had an opportunity to shoot anything.
I remember the railroad tracks. It was my first real experience with trains. Like they'd be parked there, and if we wanted to hunt, we had to like climb through the cars to get to the other side. And then when the train would go to take off, the sound a train makes when it's going from completely stopped to going, when every single car in the line goes for like a mile.
So loud.
It's this crazy loud sound. Crazy.
Oh yeah.
And we've been stuck before at night. After I remember we were getting out of the stand, like heading back, like a train would be going by, so we'd have to sit there and just wait. And then they would always stop and then start backing up. So we quickly run through the cars to get to it, because they were the law stated that they were supposed to leave that driveway open at all times, but they never did.
Yeah,
they would never uncouple the cars there. They would just leave them, and then because the farmer. Well, technically, the farmer didn't have to go back to the drive. That drive was only for an oil well that was back there, if I remember.
Yep, there was one back in that field.
And I know we tried turkey hunting that spot not a bunch, but a few times. We never had any luck turkey hunting there. Which you have plenty of luck. You shot your gobbler this year there.
Yeah, well, same general.
Right, and we just never had luck turkey hunting on the other side of the road.
You know, it's funny though, because that main spot of the farm where I deer hunt, I've never had any luck killing a turkey there. But if you cross the creek on that backside over there, I mean, oh my God, yeah, they're freaking. It just seems like
I don't think we ever even really got pictures of turkeys.
No, we just never turkeys for whatever reason just weren't on that side. I don't know why. There was plenty of mature trees in them woods, so I don't know why they weren't roosting. But we found a couple sheds, I remember, but nothing crazy.
Yeah. Nope.
Like I said, we only hunted for that 3-year period after the fireworks buck year. I don't think we hunted it in 2016 at all. At least I don't have any video. I don't remember having any video of us hunting there. I guess I could go back and look a little bit, but
I might have once or twice, but
yeah. And then when it sold, we were kind of lazy about getting our shit out of there in a timely manner. Because I think you sold your 4-wheeler somewhere around that time. It was before I bought all my stuff.
Yeah.
So we left a couple ladder stands, and then they ended up taking all the trees out. That tree you shot Lefty from's gone.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
all the trees.
All that stuff.
That farmer hates trees. That's a fact.
Yeah.
So yeah, that property obviously it's completely different now, and everything's kind of changed up on our side of the road. It's probably helped your side actually be better.
Yeah, I mean, when was it? It was 2 years ago, and kind of not as similar as your story, but man, I was hunting this big mainframe 8 with forks on both sides of his G2. He had like a mule deer rack. Just a big, beautiful deer. I mean, just a beast. I had him in on November 2nd. I'll never forget. I had ton of action down in the creek bottom that day, and he came from behind me. Like, basically I had this smaller buck bust a doe out that was bedding, and they both went running, and I'm looking at him take off. I'm like, oh, look at that. And I turn around, and here he is. I'm like, oh shit, so I'm trying to get ready, and I couldn't stop him. I mean, he was just head
on a mission.
Oh yeah, he was trying to get that little buck off of that doe, and I ended up finding out from Luke.
Okay.
He saw at a party a photo of the buck, and some old timer got him on a deer drive or whatever over at the neighboring farm right next door, and it was just like, I don't have anything against deer drives. I don't have anything against any of that stuff, but like when you hunt a buck as hard as you hunt them when you're bow hunting and everything, and you get them from that early part on, and you got that history, and then you come to find out that they get taken out from under you by
somebody just pushing and
just pushing, just come in there, probably first time ever step foot on the land that whole year, and that up into that point you've invested the time, the energy, and money, moving stands, doing all this stuff to try to play that chess game of getting into position to be successful, and it happens.
Welcome to our life.
I
could write a novel on the deer we've lost to, for lack of better terms, neighbors that we feel might not be as deserving, is as harsh as a way to say that is.
Yeah,
you put months of time, effort in, money, food plots, everything that you do, and then Johnny B. Good shows up in his blue jean overalls and his orange jacket, and shoots a deer in the back of the head walking down a farm lane. There's nothing wrong with it.
Smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, smoking a cigarette.
Oh, man.
There's nothing wrong with it, and it's not illegal, and we would love to be in those shoes one day, because I'm sure there's times it'll happen to us, and we'll be the lucky one to kill a deer that we didn't put time and effort into.
Oh, sure.
But,
well, technically, I didn't put in the time and effort to kill the firework buck. I did put in time and effort to kill a good deer.
Right.
I just wasn't
hunting specific deer is so hard.
Oh, it is.
So hard.
I'm in that boat right now. I mean, I showed you.
Yeah, I didn't know if we were going to bring that up or not. But, a little birdie told me, Matt hasn't seen it yet.
Oh, boy.
A little birdie told me that the buck that Danny put an arrow in last year and wasn't able to kill, that his neighbor also, supposedly, put an arrow in on the same exact day. So this deer was running around with two arrows.
Make it up, man.
2 arrows sticking out of his ass with the drone taking videos of him. That deer is still alive, and he would not be able to fit in the doorway to come into this shop. He'd have to turn his head side. In order for the deer's rack to fit into this shop, he'd have to turn his head completely sideways to get in, because it's just insane how wide. That might be one of the widest bucks I've ever seen.
He's going to keep me up at night.
Because he's already probably 20. He's probably already at about 24 to 26 inches wide.
Easily.
And he's not done growing yet. His beams are not finished, and he's like over the 24-inch mark. The widest deer I've ever put my hands on was Tyler's buck, G2, and I think he was 22 and change-ish inside. And like this deer that you sent me pictures of is clearly larger than Tyler's buck.
My one buddy actually put it perfectly when I showed him the picture. He's like, that deer looks like it has Zika virus, like a small head, because the rack just like he looks like freaking Bullwinkle.
He's got a rack that comes up off his head with like spaced out brow tines that are also probably already 6 to 8 inches. We're talking huge. Just like. It unfortunately would make this deer look like a schmo. Like he's just huge.
Yeah.
Ironically enough, I would say that's the widest deer I've ever seen, or definitely the widest one I've seen this year. But Ethan, during his scouting, has been filming a buck. We probably will never have an opportunity to hunt it, but in the realm of what we do, there's a buck that Ethan's been filming lately that's just as wide, but not as heavy. He's just as wide. He's got his split brow. He's crazy. We call him the Rampala buck because his antlers actually sit low, like yours sit high, with the spaced out brows. This buck's antlers sit really low, and the brows aren't spaced out, and there's a split on the one side. But he's also incredibly wide, but he's nowhere near the mass your buck has.
Yeah, well,
they're clearly different deer.
I'm guessing. So this will be year 4 that I'll have him on camera.
Damn,
so
4 years.
I'm gonna say, and the craziest part about all of that, 4 years, I've only had one sighting, one encounter in real life, and I blew it last year. I blew it, and I mean, we told the story on drunk night with the whiskey bottle back there. Drunk night.
Danny put an arrow in this deer. You know, he had messaged some of his friends. We got the message that he had shot this buck. You know,
Lord,
he wasn't quite sure on the hit. He was going to call in a drone while tracking said deer. He tracked it past another dude's tree stand who said that he had also just shot said buck. Right, and then the drone showed that the deer was still alive with 1 or 2 arrow holes in him. Who knows? But the deer did factually run past another hunter with your arrow in it.
Yeah, so. No doubt about it. I mean, that was, and you know what was kind of cool about that is, you know, he and I have, you know, still to this day are texting each other. We're working together, not against each other. And I wanted to make that clear in the very beginning because it was probably one of the most awkward situations I've ever been in. When he and I are both sitting there waiting on the drone footage, watching the drone footage.
See
and
which
we're like,
arrows where.
Yeah. It's like, well.
Did you ever see the arrows sticking out of them or they both passed through?
Well, mine for sure passed.
Out.
Mine for sure passed through. I ended up finding it. I mean, you know, I told the story, but there was good blood for the first 100 yards. Salzner was like, that's a dead deer.
Yeah.
Like that kind of blood.
He's been known to be wrong from time.
Oh, just a little bit. Nothing against my poor buddy, but you know,
we're about to spend a lot of time with him in the next couple of weeks. Medina County.
Oh yeah.
I'll be seeing him every day.
But there was a good amount of blood, and you know, but then obviously after 100 yards, 150 yards or so, it started to slowly get less. And then a little less. And then by the time 400 or 500 yards came around where we called it, you know, it was getting very sparse.
Yeah.
So, you know, the good thing is that he's alive and well. He's looking great.
He looks
healthy. No, nothing really crazy about him. He's a little wonky on that one side.
We'll see how that one side, you know, ends up. Is it the opposite side where you hit him?
No, that's the same side.
Same side.
That's the same.
So I know with leg injuries, they'll throw weirdness on the opposite side sometimes. I don't know the science behind that exactly, but they say like the body decides it's going to start healing. So say the right front leg, so then like the left antler gets the nutrients withheld from it.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. But,
well, he's got to be at least 6 years old.
Yeah.
He's got to at least be 6 years old. And, you know, it could be because of the hit or it could just be because of age. But he's super massive. I mean, he's just, I don't know really at the end of the day how high he's going to score, but honestly, I do know.
Yeah, because he's looking like he's going to be at least an 8-ish, maybe.
Oh yeah, he'll be an 8. He's
a very wide, heavy, tall 8.
He's been an 8 his whole life, you know, and he's going to continue to be an 8, clearly based off of the velvet photos. But
it'd be cool if we threw a drop tine or something, but it's not looking like he will.
I was thinking that it might have happened because of the injury. I'm like,
when you get that age on deers, when they start throwing some weird stuff too. You know?
Yeah, but he looks like he's just going to be a big, gnarly 8, and that's what he's going to be. But, man, I'll tell you what.
You're going to spend some time on him, huh?
Oh, man.
How's your food plot coming?
You know, I went out on Sunday to spray, and leave it to me to pick the hottest day of the week to go out and spray. And, of course, I'm out there, and I'm like, damn it, I should have been out here like 3 or 4 hours ago. You know, it's 90 degrees. I'm like, I'm taking jugs of water, dumping it over my head, spraying like my food plot. But it's looking nice. It's looking nice. You know, it'll be time to plant in like a month.
Yeah, mid-August.
You know? So
mid-August we'd be planting. We also, it was on Monday, not Sunday, but we also spent some time down south this week, and it was just down in Marietta where the Gore Farm is. It's closer to heaven, I think, because like the mountains down there. It was so hot. I don't think I've ever been physically hotter in my life than when I was down there on Monday working on Gore's food plots and doing them trail cameras.
Just wait, it gets
unbelievably hot.
Isaac's sweating.
Get older.
Yeah, maybe Isaac's sweating. It was just so hot. But Yeah, Matt, the only thing we haven't really talked about that I had written down was you bought a new house and you have a completely new set of deer and a new area that you're going to be hunting, and you've kind of started to walk it a little bit. You got permission from your neighbor.
Yep.
There's a big puzzle to unpiece here in the next 6 months.
Yeah. So my property is 5 acres. It's all field, hay field. The neighbors, I'm surrounded by one family. So the lady we bought it from, her mom lives directly behind us, and then brother is next to us, and then there's a cousin kind of on the corner. They own altogether, it's like 35-ish acres. With most of that, a big section of the wooded area. There's a pond back in there. There's really not a whole ton of woods to hunt, but he did give me permission. Said there's a stand there, mineral site. So I found a stand. I went and walked a little bit today. I found a stand. I'm not sure if that's the one he's talking about or not, but I haven't found the minerals yet.
Yeah, didn't you show us some pictures? Didn't he send you some pictures or something?
He saw some pictures of bucks. No.
Yeah, well, so I remember when you first got the house, you sent us some pictures.
So I did. I found one of the neighbors that owns.
Oh, you were creeping.
I was creeping.
You were creeping.
Facebook.
That's
I
right.
found a neighbor that has a good section of property that posted turkey pictures and deer pictures.
Yeah.
And some of the deer that he posted from that property are pretty insane.
Yeah.
And then the neighbor guy said there was 2 last year that were giants, and I think one of them might have got shot, but one is for sure still alive. There's been at least 2 bucks across the road that I've been watching in a field. There's a small one behind the house that I've been watching, so it's just going to be a lot to try to figure out how to set up, where to set up.
Yeah. You still have your blind you took down from your old house? Your platform, at least?
No, I left that.
You ended up leaving it? You said, fuck it?
Yeah. I didn't.
I remember you took it down, though, right?
No.
No, you did? For some reason, I thought you did.
No, I was going to, but I never did.
Could have called.
Yeah.
I would have told you I was busy.
It was we might have. There was too much going on, and then it was raining, and it was hot, and I'm like, I don't even care about that thing. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a big deal.
I should have burned it down.
Someone's going to kill a giant off of it.
Probably. But there's one section of the property that I haven't got back to yet. I started making my way that way this morning, and it is just so thick trying to get back.
Is there any trails around? Or
there's some deer trails that go through back to it.
Nowhere you can take your side-by-side?
There is. It would be on one of the other siblings' properties. I'm not sure if they hunt or not.
Okay.
But I think there is like a 4-wheeler trail or something that goes back through. So it's possible. I just need to talk to everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been there for 2 months now. Yeah. So just getting that permission off the bat was huge.
You got the permission because you started helping them do hay and shit, right?
Yeah. So there's an Amish
You became
guy.
a farmer again.
Yeah. There's an Amish guy that harvests the hay in the fields for our 2 sections and then the neighbors. So he pretty much does everything on his own. The neighbor guy, he runs the tractor, and pretty much that's what he does. But it was like 90 degrees out, and he was out there throwing hay bales by himself. And I'm like, I'm just going to go out and help. So I went out and helped. I did that a couple times with him. And then the neighbor was like, hey, if you ever want to hunt back there. And I'm like,
perfect.
All right. This really wasn't what I was aiming for, but.
Yeah. But perfect.
I want to get a lean-to on the side of our barn.
Okay,
That's why I wanted to help the Amish guy, so hopefully he could hook me up.
Yeah, somewhere to park some stuff.
Yeah.
Well, perfect. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be kind of cool trying to break down a new property. And don't forget, we popped this camera out here, this Wise Eye, so you can take it with you. So once you open up the box, you see it's just the connection just came unwired. It's simple enough, so. But yeah, it's gonna be fun starting to see those pictures. I mean, when you get new farms like that or a new set of deer, like we don't know what the genetics are in that area. We don't know what it's like. I mean, their definition of giants could be like mega giants for us, or they could just be 120-inch 8-points. But I'm looking forward to it. For all the audience listening, if you're still listening, Medina County Fairs in 2 weeks. We'll have the booth up there. So if you want to stop in and talk to any of us, I think our next podcast might be with Wild Time to kind of talk about that. So
The camera just died.
Perfect time. The camera just died. Screen just
Beautiful.
went black if you're watching the YouTube video. I'll post up a couple pictures of the stuff we've been talking about, and I guess that's our cue to be done, huh?
Right on.
All right, Deer Shot Podcast, episode 102. Danny and Matt, the fireworks buck. We're out.
Peace.
See ya.